I want people to know that I didn't do it because I wanted to die. I just wanted to escape, and I had no idea how else to find that peace that I hadn't felt in so long. In a way, I can empathise with this, because at one point in my life, all I wanted was peace of some kind. There's so many, better options that you can explore, whether you know them at the time or not. That's the way that I think about it.
Please don't tell me it's selfish. At the point I share that with you, I feel so unwell that I can't see that or I don't care. It's like I have blinkers on. I just can't see it. I agree with this statement. In times where I've struggled with my own mental health, it seems very easy to get sucked into what's going on for you, and it's almost as if it's so overwhelming and so overpowering that you don't have the capacity to think about anyone else or anything else that's going on, because you're so consumed by your thoughts and your feelings that it seems impossible to view things from another perspective.
I was so angry at first when my friend said they felt suicidal. I thought I was going to lose them, and that came out in fear, and I shouted at them. I wasn't prepared to hear it, and I didn't know how to feel. I wish I had some information on this before, so I knew where to suggest they could go to talk. I think there's a lot of people that have actually dealt with either being the person telling someone that they're suicidal or being told that they have a friend that feels suicidal. I've been on both ends, and a lot of the time it is really scary because you actually don't know what to say, and especially if it's over messages, you don't know what they're doing and you don't know if they're safe, and all you want to do is keep them alive. But sometimes you can't do everything for that person. You can't be that person's saviour, if that makes sense. It really comes down to making sure that you're there for them.
People may not say how they are feeling because they do not know how to articulate it. This is something I really relate to as someone who lives with neurodiversity. Sometimes I will say things like, I want to escape, or I want to go away, or I can't deal with anything, and that's not because I necessarily have got to the point where I'm having thoughts of suicidal ideation, but because I literally just need to remove myself and step away from the situation to be able to process it.
I wasn't sure what to do when my friend first told me I felt suicidal, but I looked up on the internet that could help and support them and suggested they contacted their doctor. I relate to that because I was that friend who felt suicidal and I didn't know what support I had, and obviously Google tells you the worst kind of things, but my friend did the research and we went to professional and I got out of that hole, and I'm grateful to be here today.
Not every crisis is as obvious, and it's important to note that sometimes it can look like things are getting better when for the person they are actually getting worse. So from this, I think it's really important to note that some people can give it a real face, put on a mask and say they're fine, they're doing okay, but really they're actually hiding the fact that they're really not doing as well as they're perhaps letting on to you.
I told my mum that I was suicidal, and she was angry because I had self-harmed. She didn't talk to me on the way to hospital or whilst I was there, which made me feel worse. It's only now that we've spoken about it, and she said she was just worried and didn't know how to react, and it came out in anger, but at the time I thought it was because she didn't care. It's made me realise that although it can be difficult to hear someone tell you that they feel this way, your response can make a massive difference. You might feel scared, but listening and supporting them can make it more likely for them to share things with you in the future.
I can really relate to this, both as a parent and a professional. When you're overwhelmed with worry and anxiety, it can be really hard to slow down and just try to take the space to listen to the other person without trying to fix the problem. So this is great advice. You want to take away the pain and you want to fix the problem as quickly as possible. And that makes it really hard to slow down and give enough space. Because often the young person can come up with the solution to the problem. And if they feel validated and heard first, they're much more likely to do that. But yeah, there's a massive urge to rush in and make it better and fix it.
Sometimes I just need someone to be there. Don't pity me. Just give me a hug and sit with me. So I completely relate to this, because sometimes when your mental health is bad, people can offer you all the words and platitudes and lovely phrases in the world, but it really just won't have any impact. Sometimes the best thing someone can do is take action, or even just sit there beside you and say, do you know what, I'm here if you need me.
Finding someone's hobbies can really help. Listening to music with them and doing something they enjoy to show them that they matter. I think this is really important because you don't necessarily have to have a direct conversation, but just being with that person in the moment. And for me, personally, doing arts and crafts and bringing me kind of to the present is really helpful for me. And it's just knowing that even if you don't want to help talk about it, someone is there for you to support you through what can be an incredibly difficult thing.
I was able to speak to my daughter when the crisis had passed, to ask what I can do to help in difficult and distressing moments. This helped me to support her in a better way and has helped my daughter and myself. I think this is really helpful because when things are calmer, you can talk to one another and make a plan. And it just means that when you're in the scenario again, or when you're struggling to know what to do as the other person, you've got that guideline really. And I think that makes a massive difference. It gives you permission to do something which you might otherwise not consider doing.
We have got to tackle the myths and misconceptions. Talking to someone about suicide will not increase the risk. It will actually help a person. It definitely will help a person because you're talking about it, and the first step is being honest with yourself of how you're feeling. For me, I had to be honest, or else I kept pushing people away and found myself in a deeper hole that I was getting in. So for me to come out of that hole, I had to admit to myself I did feel low, but I had to also be vulnerable around people to be able to get the right support I needed.
I just want you to know, if you feel suicidal, it does get better, and I'm glad I'm still here. Yeah, I think that's the main thing about suicide is you think it's never going to get better, but I was in a place where I never thought it was going to get better. Now I barely have any suicidal thoughts, so it does always get better.
When you feel like giving up, just remember why you held on in the first place and how long you held on for. So for me, that was a really lived experience. I wanted to give up. It doesn't matter what I had in place, what things I had in life. They weren't enough, but they were not enough for me to make me happy, to make me feel human. I felt like a robot. I didn't have any emotion. But then I realised how long I actually held on for, and it was all my life to the space of 10 years old to 13 to 16. With the right support and with the people around me, I made it to my 23rd birthday with everything that I've now got to gain in life. As long as I keep fighting as well as you can gain that as well.